Sam, right? Yeah. Cool. I thought that's who we were just talking to. Here's 30.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple questions. So how much of what you've heard from the other people that have been up here already have you changed anything that you would have normally done? Have you already started to
Yes.
assimilate?
Yes.
What have you changed?
Particularly when you were just working with the second movement, the concept of the soloist just kind of soaring over and paying attention to the little details underneath it. I mean, that's the point of a soliloquy, is it's like someone's talking but nobody's listening to them regardless of what they're saying. So paying attention to the other things that are happening underneath is what I tried to do.
Did you feel like you got enough attention, or could you use a little bit more? Okay. I think Dr. Zastoupil might have a different opinion on that.
Sure.
But, okay, so that's one thing. Okay, what else did you change?
I made it intentional to make sure that I started with hand more open because it's that kind of music here.
Okay.
So making sure that I wasn't cueing like this and doing more of, trying to invite you in and make eye contact and look at the ensemble.
Okay. Okay. This right or wrong. This is what I saw. Okay. At any point, like the height of your pattern was like this big.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Which is always a bad thing, but and you would change where you would put it, but when you're up here, it was still only like this big. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And when you're down here, it was all kind of floating in there.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, that's fine sometimes, but we also that's when we want those real precise changes, we need to have maybe a little bit more of a downbeat. I'm not saying we should just be conducting time. So that's one thing I would try to be aware of. And then whenever you do get up here, then it's almost kind of like we're coming at them like, I don't even have a word for this, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, ah.
Yeah.
So make sure that we kind of avoid kind of hunching over a little bit, okay? And then how about the very first attack? How did you feel about it?
I almost stopped and restarted because I was unclear
Well,
and
okay,
it showed. So,
let's just
yeah.
do that for a
Sure.
couple times here, okay? Do it again. What did you hear?
It was a little bit fuzzy, and the tip of my baton kind of did that, so it wasn't a click, boom,
Okay.
start. So I can do better.
Okay. Now, how do I say this? So without being out of character, how can we be just as clear but be in the character of the piece? Does that make sense? So like if I was playing, or if we're going to watch the video and you were going to sing what you saw, like not knowing what piece we're doing, I think you would probably go on, ta.
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't want to ta, we want to ah, right? So how can you show that and still be just as accurate? Okay? Try one more time. One more time. Got it right?
Yeah. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so another thing that we saw over here, and not anything that just happened, but you give random releases in the middle of these phrases every now and then, okay? So I want you to be really careful about the phrasing aspect of this, okay? So first of all, where would you like this, if ever, to break?
Not really until maybe, I mean, the whole ensemble will break right at 3 after 5.
Okay, are you guys playing what you see, or are you playing what you know? Play what you see.
I think they're being nice to me.
Okay, yeah, so don't be nice, okay? Play what you see, okay? And I want you to, like if she gives a release, give a release, okay? If she goes through it, then go through it, okay? So I want you to pay just as much attention to the ends of the phrase as you do the beginning. We've just been talking about the beginning of the phrases, you know, up to this point. So think about how we can connect these ideas without throwing the first idea away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so try that.
Okay.
Play what you see. So better, okay? Remember when I can't remember who we made like look at people for like 3 seconds. Who was that? Yeah.
Doug.
So we're gonna do that same thing with you.
Great.
Okay. You guys want more eye contact, probably, right? Okay. This is a crutch.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys feel more connected that time? Okay, I felt more connected just watching. Okay, now let's talk about what you do here. Every now and then you do like a random stab every now and then. Okay, and then we talk. Dr. Zastoupil talks a lot about leading with a tip. Okay, this isn't really a piece where we should lead with a tip, right? Okay, so don't ever lead with a tip on this. What we've done so far. Okay, so think about that this time. Okay, so everything that you've been doing. Plus, don't lead with the tip ever.
Okay. By the way, okay. So again, we're kind of like game planning over here. What do you hear whenever the ensemble's playing? Don't look at it. I don't know. Sometimes I just black out when I'm on the podium and I'm like thinking about what I'm doing next, and I think we all do that. So that's probably exactly what's happening
so
right now.
Do you have a concept in your mind at what you want it to sound like as as it's going along?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a really weird analogy, so bear with me, okay? So you guys know like the little seismograph thing, right? Okay, so in my mind, this is what I like hear, okay? Like I almost like see like the little seismograph thing, like how I want it to sound, you know? And then in reality, what's coming at me, I've got like another thing, and whenever those things aren't lining up, that's whenever like I have to ask myself, okay, what's happening, okay?
Yeah.
So, but that can't happen unless you have a concept of what you want it to sound like, okay? So don't black out, okay? And then the other thing is you're still doing this kind of weird thing where it's almost like you're drawing like a bow, and you come back like this, okay? So can you not come back like this? And it's like Dr. Zastoupil said, you can use the sagittal plane, but if you're going to do it, you have to combine it with another plane, okay? Otherwise, it's like you're winding up for some like big, you know, I don't know, like you're going to stab somebody or something, okay?
We don't want that.
No,
so.
not today anyway, okay?
Front row doesn't, so.
Okay?
Not today. Another.
On another day maybe, okay?
Sure.
All right, so let's try it one more time, and
Okay.
we'll let Dr. Zastoupil jump
Sure.
up here. You just did it. You just did it.
Yeah, you know, I really like what you're doing is very nice, and I'm glad you admitted that you weren't hearing a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget the first time I was on the podium, and I was an undergrad at Baylor, and Dr. Sedatal was like, "Hey, why don't you conduct on a concert?" And I remember doing it. I remember he was standing off to the side, did the performance. It was 6 minutes long. I turned and looked at him, and I walked off. I'm like, I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hear anything. Like, it might have been white noise, static on the radio. Like, and so I'm convinced, like, as young conductors, we just don't hear a lot. You know, and it takes, I hate to say it, like 20 years of doing this until you're like, hey, I can hear something. You know? So anybody that's in their 20s is like, oh, I hear great. Like, it's just not true.
No.
It's impossible because there's only a few people on the planet that can really do that. So thank you for being honest and vulnerable about it.
Yeah.
You know? So here's a trick to help you with that. When you're up here, see if you can check in with different voices as often as you can. Just listen. Be like, I'm going to listen to tuba for 3 seconds. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to move over to trombone. Now I'm going to go to clarinet. Now I'm going to go to saxophone. Now I'm going to go to flute. Now I'm going to move back there. Just every couple of seconds, check in. That will keep your ears really active. It's like driving in the car. You know, we can look at this mirror, you know, who's throwing something at who in the back seat. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of things. You don't have to deal with that yet, thankfully. You know, but all of a sudden I get random stuff flying up to the front. And random accoutrement flies from the back of the car, and I don't know where it comes from. You know, accoutrement, it's little things, yeah. Sorry for the big words on a Saturday morning. But just check in with different people. That way you can hear a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay? What are you doing this afternoon?
Lincolnshire too.
Perfect.
To work on the
Oh,
exact same things.
Then you and I are going to have a lot of fun with
Great.
that later today. I'll mess around with you a lot on that.
Perfect.
Okay? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.